Hey guys, Indy here with Ultimate Tool Reviews. Well, AWP, or Advanced Work Products, just sent me a new pair of their Goatskin hybrid gloves. Now these are totally brand new on the market. They may or may not be available at your Lowe's just yet, but they are now out and ready to purchase. So AWP is claiming these are a hybrid goatskin for general purpose. Looks like they come in a couple different sizes. The size that always fits me the best is always the XLs. I can give it some larges here and there, but for the most part, my hand size is XL. They claim to be a performance fit, a genuine leather goatskin, and no break-in period. Kind of interesting thing to see a no break-in period in gloves. I've never really seen that to be too much of an issue with most gloves that I've had. The gloves are right here. I wouldn't say this goatskin is by any means, stiff or rough. It's really soft, almost beyond soft, I would imagine, for a pair of gloves. But let me know if you guys ever experienced a break-in period for types of gloves like a goatskin glove. They always seem to be totally fine. So let's move into some of the features of this glove. Some of the things I found was kind of interesting on this pair of gloves was that right in the middle here, or sorry, in the palm and on the fingers, I kind of see a big weakness in these gloves right off the bat. And there is a bunch of these holes for probably, keeping the gloves breathable, allowing, sweat and moisture to get out. But if you're, working outside in the yard, they do claim they're general purpose gloves. If you're working, with anything that has, wood splinters or thorns, I've always had gloves that whenever they have these little holes in them, they go right through those little holes and hit your hand anyways. So not my favorite. If you're ever working near dirt or a little bit of, concrete, anything like that, that stuff goes right through those holes as well too, and kind of makes the gloves pointless at that point. So not my favorite thing to see here with AWP gloves when they add those little holes for aeration in there. But other than that, let's put these things on, see how they feel. They definitely are running on the bigger side. Most XL gloves, they do fit me nicely. These are just a little bit bigger, but that's not a bad thing. You can adjust this Velcro strap quite nicely. Fits me really well right there. It does have a nice bit of padding here by the knuckles. Not a ton for what you'll see on more like the demolition style of gloves, but you're definitely gonna get some of that padding there. And then of course near the tips of the fingers, I'd like to see, how well these will hold up over time with these fingers to start coming off that stitching there. Now they're double stitched if you get to the top of the nail bed where your fingers are, but they're only single stitched down right at the tips of the fingers. So kind of interesting to see that there. I'm kind of curious to see how well they're going to hold up and how long they'll hold up for. They are double stitched right in between your thumb and the rest of your hand there, so that's nice to see. Not a ton of padding as you would compare to other gloves. Right in your palm, but overall not terrible. Now what I'm going to do for these gloves to test them out is I'm going to wear them in a couple of my projects and kind of compare them to other gloves that I've got here that I've already got some use into, and we'll kind of see how these hold up. Really curious to see how some of the stitching holds up, and this goatskin, which is super soft. Really curious to see how that'll hold up over time. So I just want to show you a couple other types of gloves that I like to wear that I've seen that have been pretty well, or work pretty good for me. Of course, you have the demolition gloves. Don't be fooled by the name of demolition gloves. You're going to see more of this type of padding on these gloves, and they're going to get that. They're going to use that. To charge you more. I've seen these things up to like 30 or 40 bucks a pair, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. If you're working around, working inside of like a stud bay, you're working with like, hammers. Yeah, it'll protect you a little bit more here and there, but it's kind of a gimmick when it comes to these demolition style gloves. When you got the extra padding on the outside of your hand, I honestly think it's always worth it to pay the extra money when you could just buy, 2 or 3 more pairs of a regular pair of gloves and be totally fine. However, though, whenever I find these on sale or clearance, I do pick them up as they are useful in certain times. Now, if we look at the Milwaukee here, this is just going to be, a standard, ANSI cut level 3 glove here. And very little padding, extra padding on the inside of the glove compared to the outside. And of course, these are an absolute premium. I think there's like 20, 25 bucks. They definitely charge you a premium for these gloves. But if you look at the Cobalt here, notice the extra padding on the inside here, as well as that extra grip on the thumb, a little extra padding sewn in right at the base of the fingers there as well too. So that's really cool to see. I will say the one thing with the Cobalt gloves though is they run really tight. So just when you wear them, when you buy Cobalt gloves, try them out at the store. Don't just trust your regular size. Also got a pair of cat gloves. pretty standard, you know, just regular dipped gloves here. I think it's the, I forgot the word for it, is it nitride dip gloves? It's the name that they're called. But anyways, these are kind of my favorite gloves to use, not necessarily this brand, but I like this style of gloves, hold your hand really well, and do a really good job. Now for garden work, here's my favorite type of glove. It's just this Milwaukee, the Smart Swipe, just their general purpose gloves. They went on clearance a while ago for like $3 or $4 a pair. Picked up a bunch of these and they hold up really well. As you can see that there is very little exposed stitching in these gloves. All the stitching is in the inside of the gloves, not the outside. So that's something I like to see from gloves, is keeping the stitching away from the work zones there. But back to the AWP gloves, we compare them, you know, some of the features to all of this. Overall, I'm really curious to see how well these are gonna hold up over a course of a couple of jobs here, where the failure points are gonna be. But the biggest thing that I find in these gloves that might turn you away, of course, is gonna be those breathable holes in these gloves. Unless you're doing something that's, you know, just working around maybe just, you know, very clean lumber, you're just working with some power tools here and there, nothing really sharp, nothing that can get through those gloves and poke you, these gloves should be totally fine. So guys, we're gonna check these out in a couple more projects, then I'm gonna do a follow-up video on this to kind of show you the damage that we can do on these gloves, and we'll see how well they hold up. But leave me a comment guys below, what's your favorite type of glove that you guys like to wear? If you checked out any AWP gloves, how they hold up so far, and take care guys, have a great day.